What is up with it? Today we got a 4.2 billion bounty blue Doflamingo versus a 3.2 billion bounty Doflamingo for the mirror match. Something I noticed actually just as I started recording and getting things together. The other video I'm uploading today is actually this exact same player playing Gecko Moira. And this game happened first. In that video, I say I wasn't sure if they climbed to that rank with Gecko Moira. They probably honestly climbed that high on Dofi. And then for whatever reason, because that game happened not that long after this game, like probably within an hour. Because once you get to the top of the ladder, you kind of see some of the same people a lot. But so maybe after this game, or they had some other game that went rough for them, I'm not sure. But okay, so they chose to go second. And we're playing the Perona here. That was a good mulligan into the Perona, Jinbei, Jozu. Definitely don't hate it. We have a few different options here. I almost want to, I think this is nice, because what it allows us to do is it allows us options. We can either teach, go Jinbei Boa, or we can just raw play the law. Let's see. The Jozu's going to be really good on 7 if we're allowed to keep this teach. So yeah, here we go. We're just going for the standard Jinbei Boa. If they try to just swing 5, play a 4-drop. I missed what they grabbed off this Sengoku. If they try to just swing 5, we get the free block. If they go law, okay, cool. We were kind of running low. I think here feels kind of bad to let this go. But ultimately, we want this Jozu for 7, right? Because here we know I'm cool with double bouncing these, I think. Okay, I'm cool with this too, establishing the body is fine. Because I guess we do want to take a hit or two next turn. So yeah, the bow is probably better. It also lets us swing larger. And we put those, where did we put those? We kept those on top, okay. So I'm guessing we're thinking that we're gonna want a gravity blade. Which makes sense. We've got some good board control going with as long as this teach doesn't get removed. Normally we really want to take this free block here, but we're so low on cards that because we played the Perona and the teach, if you play both of those in the same turn, it gets really expensive. So I have to imagine we're always taking this. Not sure how they stack with Boa and still miss. But mistakes happen, you know. Yeah, I think I like swinging at this Jinbei. They're gonna guard regardless of where we swing. But we don't have pudding or anything, so in this situation where they don't guard, you know. I think yeah, I just wanna swing at this Jinbei again. Just put him on no board, right? Especially if we know the gravity blade is coming up, and we're gonna be able to gravity blade them. Then we're just really gonna have a lot of board control. Feels pretty expensive to counter out of that 7. I imagine a lot of the time they're gonna go Boa here, right? Jinbei Boa. And swing another 7. I think if they try to swing at this Boa, it's a huge mistake. Yeah. unless they're playing a bow off top. I think this is a huge mistake. You're allowing me to save a card. This is a pretty easy 2K. We thank them for their donation. Okay. Oh, we drew. Yeah, we knew that Jozu was coming up. We almost don't want to Sengoku, because we kind of want to draw that Gravity Blade, I think. So I think really we just go Perona, Jozu, Teach. We get a double bounce. We swing at the rest of the board. And we just keep trying to deny them of resources. I could see worlds where we do other things, but I think I like that play the most. Yeah. Always funny when you do we want to draw the gecko next turn? Okay. Yeah, I'm fine with that, I think. I think drawing the gecko next turn is fine. Because if they somehow remove our Teach on this next turn, with like a Gravity Blade, it gives us something of value to play off of our own Teach. Like if we go Gravity Blade, replay Teach. So we'll just see. We'll see. So we're just swinging sevens, seeing what they're willing to give us, just trying to control the board. And it never feels too great to be bouncing a Jinbei, because it's just so free to play it again, but we're just trying to slow down the game. Just trying to create board. From this player's perspective, I think the strongest thing they could do is Gravity Blade these two, and then play Teach into Jinbei into Law, and bounce this. If they were able to pull off that, they would be in like a pretty crazy spot, honestly. So good thing for this player that they did not have that. Okay, so we're swinging big at the Jozu. I guess this player only has 4 cards in hand, so it feels like this gets through a lot of the time. That said, yeah, especially because we get the extra Dawn, so we get to swing 10. If they give us 2 2Ks, it feels pretty unlikely, but yeah, maybe that's fine. Okay, and they're just gonna bounce the boa, I would assume. Yep. And then here, I think it's pretty easy Grav Blade on the boa, and I feel like I'd almost throw it at the Law. I think you can make an argument for either one. The thing is, like, this is the only Law that we know they have access to currently. So getting rid of it means we might cut them off. Like, they don't get to do any Jozu shenanigans. However, if we get in a bounce war, we don't care as much about bouncing the Law as much as we care about bouncing the Jinbei. So okay, so we're just trying to tax them for more cards. We could have played Sengoku here, even Sengoku Perona, but I'm pretty cool with turning the Teach into an attacker here. Because like at this point, right, either they're giving us like everything in their hand to protect that Jinbei, or they are letting it go. And if they let it go, then they're only going to have one attack this turn that they're taking right now. And if they want to use their 7K swing on the Teach, I mean, go for it, you know. I think the only thing this line like gets punished by is if they like swung 5 into the Teach and then dropped Kaido. But even then, I don't think we're in a bad spot at all. Like, Yeah, so he's swinging 12. So like we didn't lose anything, I don't think, really by swinging that teach. We just, didn't get to play the Sengoku, which I think is fine. All things considered, um, obviously we're way up on card advantage here, but they're not in a bad spot. They're not in the worst spot possible. We have a few different things we could do here. We could go like a Gecko into Jinbei into Boa and put 4 characters on board. They have a Mihawk in hand. And we can swing at life and we can just say like, hey, I'm threatening lethal next turn. Or we can, what are we doing here? We're definitely stacking the Jinbei. I do kind of wonder if it would have been better to do the other line. Just go even wider. This does allow us to have more diverse plays next turn because we've established the teach. Yeah, gotta imagine we're playing the law and bouncing itself. Oh, and bouncing their Jinbei. Okay, so at this point we're saying like, hey, you have the teach. I don't want to bounce this law because it's going to be really annoying if you continuously bounce my stuff. And you're so low on cards, I don't really care if you get to do the Jinbei for free. Some interesting turn by this player for sure. Would love to hear if anyone thinks they see some better lines. Okay, interesting that they're going 5-5. They could have just gone bigger with this into this to guarantee the kill. But looks like they're trying to really get cards out of hand. Which I don't think I agree with from this player's perspective, right? Because, like, you can get as many cards out of my hand as you want, but if you're not wide enough, you're not going to be able to kill, right? You know I have this law, you know I have this teach. Unless you have a gravity blade or, God forbid, a hound blaze, you're not removing this teach, right? So all you're doing right now by trying to like take cards out of my hand is really you're making it so you have less swings at my life. Cause yeah, look, now we're using a 10. Like, I just don't like it. I think it's bad. I think you're giving, when you're this player and you're establishing these 4 bodies, you have to, like, I can triple bounce here, right? I can triple bounce while swinging an 8 at life. It's just looks like we went for the double bounce just to establish more bodies because we're not worried about these 4 swings or these 3 swings killing us. They can't kill us, so there's no reason to go for the double bounce. And just bouncing the Jinbei instead of the Law because we want to keep these. They do have 7 cards in hand, which is not a trivial amount. Dropping Kaido here probably doesn't help, actually. You probably just get all your cards in hand ripped away. So they use like 5 Dawn to bounce both of these, and they get to swing 12 and 2 5s. And you're still at 0 life. So they take 1, 2, and then 12 takes 4 cards. So they take 6 cards out of your hand. So the Kaido doesn't do anything. Here we can take this hit. Can't counter out of it. They need to have a second Boa for any hope. Okay. No Boa here. here, this player has to decide how much of this hand they think is really counter. This is actually kind of an interesting spot. Because we could just YOLO swing 14, bounce the boa after placing with Teach on top. But they do have a lot of cards in hand. So that doesn't always get through. I'm typically an advocate for if you don't have to go for game this turn, don't go for game this turn. So I think I would play this a little slower. We have... I'm not sure. It's an interesting spot. We could definitely go for the triple bounce. Swing 6, swing 7. And then just say like, hey, I'm just going to do this next turn. Actually the pudding. The pudding is the way for sure. Because now, you know, if they want to counter out of a 12 and a 5, right, they would need they'd need 4 2Ks and then a 1K. And it's like, man, if you were able to rip that, like, hey man, Godspeed to you, right? Yeah, and they didn't. So like, let's say they did rip them. Okay. What type of swings could they do to go for game here? They could go, let's say they go for 6, and then 7, and then 8, and then 9. So you counter out of the 6. You have to take the 7, and then they go 8, and then you can counter again. So I assume they'd go 6, 7, 8, 9. I actually don't think there's a combination of numbers they could do to kill, right? So let's say you go 5, you get a 1K. So you go 7. Okay, they could go 5, get a 1K. 8, take. Yeah, even if this attack didn't get through, because this card is exactly a 2K, this player is always living anyways. So great game, honestly, great game. I'm sure there was probably things that could have been optimized from both sides. Would really love to hear it if anyone thinks there's any better lines. The mirror match is always really interesting because both players have so many options, and the win conditions for both players changes turn by turn so much. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day.